Now let's talk about Walgreens Boots Alliance, which operates in the US as Walgreens and Duane Reade pharmacies, and internationally as Boots, which
so
we
now,
know
of course,
well.
what we're doing is going retail and talking pharmacies and front of store pharmacies. And the reason we talk about Walgreens Boots Alliance is they're by far the world's largest sort of chain of pharmacies. Walgreens is the US, Duane Reade is sort of, you know, New York, East Coast. But Boots, of course, people will be familiar with when traveling in Europe.
And $90.1 billion market cap here, price to earnings ratio of 19.8, dividend yield of 1.9%. Chantal, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean, this is also an attractive space, kind of the pharmaceutical personal goods retailing business. The margins are actually quite good in it, and there's a lot of room for consolidation all over the world. Walgreens it's actually the second largest in the US, but with Rite Aid that they're trying to buy now, they'll be by far the largest in the US, with their chief competitor being CVS.
Exactly.
So you basically have, within the store, you have two categories. You've got pharmacy and then you've got beauty retail. These guys are strong in pharmacy, but they can still do a lot in the beauty kind of personal goods retail side of things.
Potential to grow, as you're saying, into the beauty niche.
Yes, and what's interesting about Walgreens is that they try to own the entire supply chain. So they've got the kind of same the distribution type business, and they've got a close relationship with manufacturers, and in that way they're trying to steal margin across the entire supply chain. So an interesting prospect, I think.
Well put. Paul, can you add?
They also own a few online properties, beauty.com and drugstore.com, so they're trying to do the e-commerce thing. But it's amazing. I don't know what's like in London. I haven't spent that much time there, but it's New York I've been quite often. There's like a drugstore every 200 meters.
More prevalent than a Starbucks.
Very, very prevalent. And they do a little bit of groceries, you know, sort of light in, sort of one banana and a bottle of water.
Couple of sandwiches.
But you cannot, I mean, like toothbrushes and painkillers and, you know, pharmaceutical products, aisles and aisles and aisles of
Let's
them.
look at the share price
it's a big
graph here.
expenditure category. Now, it doesn't look so fabulous globally. It was an interesting opportunity that they got to buy Boots Alliance, which came out of the UK in 2014. And the reason was that it sort of had a Swiss-based controlling shareholder that wanted to throw in the towel.
That actually looks really appalling. I mean, if you look at that downward part of the graph, the most recent performance, there's just a tiny little uptick, but I mean, it's way, way off its previous highs.
The most recent deal, which is to buy Rite Aid, there was a long-winded, drawn-out process, and in the end, the deal failed. So what Walgreens is going to do is buy about 2,200 stores across America, which are branded Rite Aid, and actually take them on board.
Did that impact the share price negatively?
Actually, it impacted the share price of Rite Aid, which is not the company we're talking about. The target company conked in after the deal fell through.
So I think that management just needs to restore some kind of credibility when it comes to these acquisitions. Obviously, the Boots acquisition was a really good acquisition, but it's still not 100% bedded down, so still some synergy gains to come. Rite Aid is going to be very meaningful for them. So if they can kind of extract synergies, get their distribution partner to start delivering into Rite Aid as well, and perhaps help Rite Aid's margins up, and also by extracting those synergies, push its margins up, it might start being able to compete with CVS on margin.
Could it be a buying opportunity? Are you prepared to take that risk at this point?
It's it's a bit of a tough one, but I would probably give them the benefit of the doubt. As a house, we actually prefer CVS, which is not a stock that we're talking about right now, but it is a pretty attractive space to
so
play
you're going
in.
to call it hot, not hot?
It's a tentative hot. It's a very, very tentative hot.
A tentative hot coming through from Chantal. Can you give it a more positive hot than that?
Yeah, unlike CVS Caremark, the Caremark part of CVS is a big pharmacy benefit management, that's distribution of chronic care drugs to people's homes. Walgreens Boots Alliance does have a business, particularly in the UK, that does that, but it's not as big. Yeah, whatever. Let's go hot.
You're going hot. Are
Let's
you
go hot
losing
on
the
that.
tentative? Are you going with a firm hot?
No, it's fine. You know, it's not a stock that we own currently in portfolios, but it's a company that we like the look of, and we like the sector broadly.
Well, the turnaround story could speak volumes there if management gains the credibility that you were speaking of earlier.
Absolutely. One thing that I'm just thinking about now is, I mean, are we not a little bit scared for Trump care and what that would mean for pharmaceutical expenditure?
You
Do
know
you think sick people will still buy drugs even though they have no insurance?
Tends to ignore the politics.
I suspect so, because the
Trump is quite difficult to ignore.
out-of-pocket, you know, kind of beauty type stuff is really a discretionary spend item, whereas the threats to Obamacare and Trump care and whatever happens is more related to people's coverage for tricky and hospitalization procedures. I know there is a portion of it which
but that would be small, right? So chronic medication will probably be small, okay,
So we can alleviate your concerns on that front.
Why I really wanted to put this company here, though, is that we're about to go to break, and after we come back, we're going to talk about Clicks and Dis-Chem, which are, of course, about this whole integrated wellness, health, pharmacy business
so well
model
put together, this show. Can you believe the flow and the silver thread coming through the discussion? Well done, Paul.